Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our Divine Feminine Ascension Council. Woo! I'm Bianca, and I'm here with my beautiful and gorgeous friend, Wendy Lou. It's just the two of us today, and we'll be talking about the different missions that we see unfolding for Lightworkers this moment on Earth, and how we can come together in a way where we stop separating. So we are looking for a way that light workers or light beings, we actually want to also transform the word light worker. Wendy, Lou, and I agree on that.
Right.
That we're light beings.
We want to let go of that heaviness of the work. Yeah, yes. Absolutely.
Yeah. And include everyone in it, right? Because ultimately everyone is a light being as well. It's just that a lot of us come with certain missions. And then because right now on Earth, and I'm guessing you see the same, Wendy, we have so many different missions playing out and we need all of them. And somehow we created a bit of a space where there may be judgment between certain groups of light beings. So, yeah.
I've been hearing the term lately, light walker, which I really like walking in the light as a balanced being.
Yeah.
Walking in the light and bringing light. So I'm actually kind of trying to, I hope that one takes off because I like that light walker.
Yeah, light walker and
but
way
yeah,
showers.
one of the, and I know one of the reasons we felt this was an important topic is because, like you said, the there is kind of popping up a lot of division within the light worker communities. And, that's obviously it's all part of our growth, right? We're all kind of shedding. What I'm seeing big time for this summer is we're all shedding our spiritual egos and reintegrating the true ego, right? The true ego, which you guys is beautiful. Our egos get such a bad rap and they really are a part of us. You're not going to kill it. You're not going to get rid of it. As long as you have a physical body, you need an ego. And as we ascend, and evolve more and more, it just becomes more part of us. And so, the ego, but the spiritual ego is something that we all have to go through this, right? We all have to go through this kind of, where we get this, it comes with the savior complex. We did come here to save the planet, but we really, it's just the way we came here to do it is not necessarily like what you would think of as superheroes. We're not coming in to do it for you, but we're coming in to do it by example and to help when we can, when we're allowed to help. But we wanted to, the division is happening for me on a personal level where I'm being attacked by other light workers and being accused of being an elitist because I'm out there speaking my truth about my mission that I am here to work with primarily other light workers. I'm not necessarily here to work with the beautiful human souls. And, again, we're not better or worse. We actually are very humbled to be here helping these human souls who are going through this for the first time. We've just already done it. We're just kind of the experts in the field, right? It doesn't make us better or worse on the soul level, but we have come here to guide, to be the guides. And for me, I'm not necessarily working directly with those souls. I am more of I'm here. And I think it's because, and I'm just going to say, I used to not be able to say these kind of things, but because I am in that, higher, and I think Bianca, you're there too with me, is we're in kind of the there is kind of a hierarchy. I hate to use that term, but we're in the group that is that is guiding other light workers because we've done it more. We have done this many, many more times than they have. And so we are the experts, in this kind of ascension field. And so that's our job. And, the other light workers who are light walkers, whatever we want to use, way showers, who are out there, spending so much of their own energy, accusing other light workers of being of doing their mission wrong is just such a misguided, stop wasting your energy, I guess is kind of what I want to say. But we wanted to kind of put this out there because I had somebody, I was talking kind of casually about this with someone, and he said, this is a really controversial topic. And I was like, yeah, that's why it needs to get out there.
Yeah.
Because I will never ever say, that I'm better than you, but I am better at this because I've done it so many more times, right? Like both of us, I think we're both there.
Yeah.
And so we're guiding more the light workers, because somebody asked me, what's the difference? What do you see as the big difference? And like we were talking about, it's a spectrum, right? Everybody's in a different place. But for me, kind of the two biggest groups there are those who are helping, there are those who are hanging out in the 3D and still shining the light toward the bridge, right? Like I see 4D as the bridge.
Yeah, I like the bridge. I've been seeing a
Yes.
bridge a lot lately as well. So I really love
Right.
what you're saying.
Yeah.
And I see myself actually, and we talked about this, I see myself actually crossing the bridge like several more times during my lifetime, which means that you will see me as well, navigating some more 3D stuff. So dissolving it for myself, for my own healing, and at the same time assisting others to heal. Like I will be there modeling in the 3D field. I see myself a little bit more. And however, I will be fast crossing the bridge back into the 5D and showing the light across the bridge as well. And what I'm seeing as well is this huge split between, we can call them 4D, 5D light workers. That's like what we, mainly refer to. However, I see many groups within the 4D and the 5D as well. However, what I'm seeing splitting mainly are the ones, and you're referring to as well, Wendy, the ones that are holding the light, like they're really here to shine the light, to be in love, to be of a high vibration, and they do not necessarily go around and trigger others a lot by, pointing towards some kind of truth that is revealing right now. Right? Because otherwise they'll go back in vibration as well by the reaction of the others or whatever it is. So they're really here to hold the light, to anchor in the light, to anchor in the high vibrational codes. So they're working more in the higher vibrational fields, and they're
already like across the bridge, right?
Exactly.
They're the ones already across. Yeah.
And they not necessarily will be doing, let's say, for example, one-on-one ascension sessions. They'll probably just have, a YouTube channel, something where they share their experiences or share multidimensional technology to work with, or show people how to anchor in more light, how to stay grounded during that. And that's what I feel like are going to be the guides for the other light beings or light walkers, right? Because that's eventually where we all will be. It's just right now in the 3D playing field, we see the other light walkers that are right now, I see many of them that are truth seekers that may not even be so much on the spirituality and the dimensions and whatnot. They're really about, revealing the hidden aspects, like what has been hidden, revealing.
Right. They're really digging in and shining the light on the 3D shadows. Yeah. That needs to happen for these souls that are.
Yeah. And I see some judgment, mostly from these truth seekers towards the we can call them 5D light walkers, right? Because they're in a space where they see in the 3D world all the injustice, and that definitely is there, right? And it is their job to muddle with this and to be in this, right? However, we also need the 5D light workers to anchor in the frequencies. And if they muddle with it, it's not, and they're not as good as it. That's why the other ones are doing it, right? The truth seekers and truth speakers are doing it, right? And then we've got the 5D who are much better at creating multidimensional structures, anchoring in codes and whatnot. So we definitely need all of it, right? And we need to stop, as you said, what did you use? You didn't use separation. You used another word that I liked. Do you remember the word? Division. Yeah, the division. I like that. Yeah, we don't want to create division within us.
It's not coming from the people on the other side of the bridge is what kind of the point. And we understand, and I do feel like we were talking earlier about the energies we're seeing and coming in July. And I do feel like I have been still going back, crossing the bridge. Going back, I feel like I'm going to do it one more time and then I'm done. And if you think, and then I'm going to be on the other side of the bridge. I'm not even going to set foot on the bridge again. And everybody's going to be different. Everybody's going to be done with that part at a different time. But like you were saying too, the instant these beautiful souls ascend for the first time from 3D to 5D, then they are going to be able to turn around and help, right? They're going to become light walkers themselves, way showers themselves the minute they do it, because like, oh, okay, I did it. Now I know, now I can guide other people. But if you think about it, I kind of like to think about it as this huge celebration, right? That's not, that we're preparing for. And so we've got the people in line for the tickets, right? They're the 3D that are just coming for the fun, for the experience, for the adventure, right? And then we've got the people who are setting up. Like there has to be somebody on the other side, all, you know, getting ready, getting the live band, you know, getting the stages set up, setting the tables, getting all the logistics of the party itself. We're preparing for that. And that may not seem like a super important thing, but it really is. It's like you said, somebody's got to be over there holding that energy, holding that space, and keeping that, you know, keeping that expanded and, you know, for when everybody gets there, you know. So it's like this kind of huge spiritual, oh, what was that big concert? No, I can't, Woodstock. We're getting ready for like this huge spiritual Woodstock, and it's going to be amazing. Excuse me. But yeah, it's, we just want the, you know, the division. It's like, I've been, you know, kind of in the space of, because I am stepping more into my individual mission, you know, and like I said, I lost a friend because she accused me of being an elitist. And I just tried to, well, I said, this is just my mission. And she, you know, she just kind of lashed out and had this big purging, you know, and, you know, trying to like make it something to do with me. Right. And I said, look, I'm not, you know, just because you feel this way doesn't mean that changes my mission. And it's, you know, it's definitely more of a sovereignty thing. Like once you are really in your sovereignty, you know who you are, then it's not about ego. It's not about vanity. It's not about, you know, who's in charge or who's better or who's worse or it's all about the mission we chose, and everybody chose to be in a different spot. And it doesn't even matter. Like there could be 90, you know, individuals who chose to do the 3D muck to really help the humanity dig through the muck. And, you know, it's part of their process too, to feel what they're feeling, to be connected to them in that way. And so it makes sense. But, you know, as far as and I can see it now, and it's not that I'm, you know, dismissing it, but I see it doesn't trigger me anymore. I see it from this perspective. Okay, well, I know my mission. Why are you wasting your energy telling me I'm doing it wrong? You know, it's like, focus on your energy, on your mission.
Yeah, it's ultimately the alignment that we feel when we are right in the field where what we should be doing, right? You feel a certain satisfaction or a tingling or a love when you know you arrived at the thing that you should be doing. And if you're at the truth seeker and truth spreading group, I also see lots of people that are perpetuating fear still, right, in the group as well. So I see that it needs to come out of fear, right? We cannot fight fire with fire. And at the end of the day, we're not fighting at all. We just need the truth to be seen. The truth to be seen and the truth to be spread, and not like trying to convince anybody. We're just putting the truth there for everyone to see who wants to see it.
Right. It's not about a battle. It's just about revealing. Exactly.
And those who are on the other side of the bridge, who are the anchors, the 5D or the party service, you could say, right? The party planners. It doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that when it shows up in their direct field that they are going to ignore it, right? It doesn't mean that if a 5D light worker is walking across the street and it sees, let's say, a person been beaten by someone else,
right? You know? Any injustice,
any type of injustice, right? Doesn't mean that this person is just going to walk by, smile, and hold high frequency. Some people think that it's not that. Right? It just means
we will absolutely do something. It's just how we respond is very different. We do everything in our power to avoid responding with violence, because we can see it from a different perspective. And again, not because we're these high and mighty beings, just because that's where we're at, and everybody's going to get there. But yeah, it's funny because I've been, we get accused of, oh, well, all this love and light. You can't just be all love and light. And I promise you, I get that. Yeah. That we are also working on balancing that dark and light. In fact, for me, I feel like a lot of the people who are going to event, and again, it's not like I've been on the other side of the bridge this whole time, right? I've had to work toward my mission. And now I realize, okay, I'm probably going to make one trip back. I do feel that in July. And then I'll be back over in the 5D getting, helping prepare for the party. But, it's been for a lot of us who are kind of the first ones getting over there, and I'm not the first by any means, right? There are a lot of people who've been there for a while. But a lot of us who are going to be over there waiting for all the party goers to show up, right, have had possibly some of the toughest runs, right? Some of the toughest lives, some of the toughest journeys. And we've been pushed through just a little faster because we suddenly kind of come into the space where we're remembering, okay, I've done this before. Yeah. I've done this before, and I know that it's going to be okay. And you just have to kind of get into that. We get to a point where we're like, well, I'm either here for the long game, right? What I signed up for, or I'm checking out right now. And you get to the point where you're like, well, I want to be here. I want to see what's coming. And so that's part of the big surrendering to everything. But yeah, the whole love and light thing, it's like, yeah, I promise you, I'm not like I was told by somebody that, well, we need lions and you're a lamb. That's what somebody told me. And I'm not, this is exactly what he said to me. I'm not angry enough. And I'm not doing enough to spread the truth because I'm not angry. And it's my fault when, and this was the word he used, was when we fall to the AI New World Order, it'll be my fault and those like me. And I'm just like, oh, right. And it saddens me.
Yeah. And you not actively being in the world where you're spreading it like publicly doesn't mean that you're not taking care. If someone comes up and tells you, oh, this would be great, and this is going towards, let's say, more AI programs or whatnot, it's not that you're going to keep quiet, right? You're going to, it's right. At the end of the day, it's about sovereignty. And it doesn't mean that you will not stand up for in the moment for the better future, right? Or the bright future, whatnot. I mean, ultimately it's here, right? The future is here anyways.
Yes.
But it doesn't mean that you're just going to ignore, right? I think that's really important to pinpoint as well. It's those people that are more in the 5D and that are more holding the love and light that they are ignoring if it shows up in their field, right? And I know you wouldn't be doing that just because you're not actively and you're not actively.
Because that would be ultimately, that would have to be something to do with a fear in them.
Yeah.
That ultimately is out of fear. And there, the saying that everybody should be angry is fear. Like there are only two things, right? Love and fear. And fear, really, there's only one thing, love.
Yeah.
We created the flip side, the fear, so that we could experience this reality and all the realities to come up until we're, back joined with source. But everything, it's just hard I get it. It's hard for people to see when they're in it. It's hard for them to see. I'm not afraid. I'm just angry. And I'm like, well, they're the same thing pretty much. And there's a fear there of something.
I want to just quickly go back to the anger because I talked about this with other people, and there's something that I want to pinpoint, and that is the righteous anger. And I feel this is, for some people, this is going to be part of the mission because anger, in particular, righteous anger, is an emotion, and we're working towards for people stepping into their emotional bodies so that they can connect more to their spirit, to their soul, right? And it can only happen via the emotional body. So I feel that for some people, and I'm getting goosebumps, I'm getting confirmation that it's good, if for them, this is the place where they need to be. They need to be in the righteous anger. And they are light walkers as well. Yes, they are light beings as well, because they are ultimately helping others as well to step into their righteous anger, and it's opening the doors towards more emotional depth, right? It's just, it needs to be that they can't just go to a love. They need to process some other emotions first, like the human population has to process some other emotions first. Right. So light
Because we've
walkers,
suppressed our emotional body for so long.
so light workers and light beings that are seeking and spreading the truth, they are for a reason right now in the righteous anger. It's not anger that is coming out of hate. It's actually anger that's coming out of the injustice that has happened.
Right.
So this
Absolutely.
is also great for others to see. And yet we also need those, if you're looking at a bridge, we could also look at a balancing scale, right? If those people are just pumping in the righteous anger, which is a good thing, right? Ultimately, I see it as a good thing because it's an emotion. Yeah. And we need people to get out of their heads and into their emotions, right?
Yes, absolutely.
We need the scale, on the other hand, where there is love and light. We need to balance it out. Otherwise, we'll see they're showing me more like of an explosion. And we don't want that. We don't want such intense shock for people. So we need both sides more or less to balance, to keep the balance.
Absolutely. And, it's not about like, we're not, trying to come on here and telling these people who are like, it's direct it in the right spot, right? Like yes, they're full of that righteous anger. And I was even telling a friend of mine, this friend who just is so angry with me because I'm not angry enough. Right. And I said, look, I respect your mission. I think you're doing an amazing job. Like you're really getting, and he's, one big thing he's doing is he's really connecting with, because he's a man, and let's face it, the men are just now kind of starting to wake up, thank God, but he is reaching other men on their level and, where they're at. And that's huge. And I'm not judging. Yeah. We're not judging their missions. We love what they're doing. It's just not what we came here to do.
Exactly.
And so when he said to me, well, what are you going to do if, he said something to me, and I remember, and I turned around and I said, well, do your job then. Like, quit telling me to do your job. Like, I have my job. I would never ask you to do it. I have my job. And yes, it may seem like, I feel like they, they're caught up in that anger and fear, a lot of it. Yeah. And my throat's going crazy. I feel like a lot of what we're saying is kind of tough love, right? It's a little harsh, but this is, a perspective that we wanted to get out there for sure. But I feel like a lot of them they're seeing us as, like, I've been accused of avoidance, right? Oh, well, you're just avoiding the truth of the reality. Again, absolutely not. I just know my place. I know where I'm supposed to be. And I was in that conspiracy theory group. That was one of my kind of introductions to awakening. I've only been on this awakening, and I'm 50, and I've only been on this awakening journey for 8 years. I had 42 years of being part of the system. And so for a lot of people, that kind of 3D reality and, raw truth is what cracks them open.
Yeah.
And so that brought me into this world. And then it was only maybe 4 years ago that I really started to open up to the spiritual side. And then I was like, holy cow, this is what it's all about. Like, this is why I'm here. And I knew that my place was no longer in that kind of conspiracy theory. And again, we know that's conspiracy theory, are just, it's just the truth that people haven't realized yet for the most part. But yeah, it's just where we're meant to be. And I could not, like, as deeply and intensely as they feel they're doing the right thing, so do we.
Yeah. So and actually, as you were talking, I got a visual, and I thought that was really interesting, is that when we're looking at the energetic field of Earth, right? There are different, we all are energetic nodes, we all create the grid of Earth, obviously.
Yes, we're the nodes. Yeah.
Exactly, those nodes. And it's like, again, we need this balance, right? So we are having a lot of light walkers that are triggering those intense emotions, right?
Yes.
And then you have another, like, this is the first layer. And then you could say the second layer is the one that is helping to transmute, right? So people are like those little explosions. And so that it doesn't consume the earth, more or less, you could say it, right?
Right.
We are kind of transmuting, and we are helping to ease all of the emotions. We need that emotional outburst. However, we don't want everyone to explode in flames. We want to make it bearable. We want to make it doable. This is also why, to me,
you don't want to blow up the bridge.
Exactly.
So
yeah.
Nobody can get across.
And this is the reason, to me, why a lot of the things that we know to be true and the truth seekers and the truth tellers are saying, and they want everyone to see that now, where I kind of get that it has to come in bits and pieces that are digestible for people.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it will blow up their system completely. Like if they haven't dealt with their emotions and they're seeing all of those traumatic information that has happened on Earth, I feel it would ultimately be too much for them. So this is why we are creating kind of like this second net of energy around the Earth grid, so that we can hold that stable, so that we're not wrecking the Earth out of balance completely.
Right. And if we, and you know, a lot of people need to kind of see it as, and I get it too, there, a lot of people still need to be in that warrior energy and still need to see this as this huge war,
and
as
that's
this huge
okay.
battle. And that is okay. That's fabulous. They need to remember that we're kind of like, if we want to break it down to this kind of really simple analogy, I've been watching a lot of Downton Abbey, by the way. So if that comes through, I'm like, oh, I love that show so much. But if I kind of put it in that reality, think of it as, okay, there's a war going on. Absolutely. And in a lot of people's perspectives, this is a war for their sovereignty, right? A war for their freedom. And we are the nurses on the other side. When the battle is over and you need your wounds treated to, right, attended to, that's where we come in. And if you threw the nurses into combat, you'd have no one else, one to do that on the other side, right? There would be no one there to greet you. There'd be no one there to prepare the space. There'd be no one there to to nurse your wounds. You know, if they need to see it that way, then that's a kind of a good analogy to see, like, okay, and that doesn't mean the nurses haven't gone through some shit, you guys. It doesn't mean the nurses have had it super easy.
We had to qualify for this job. Like we had to also go through a certain training to actually be able to do this job. And I think that's what some people don't see, right? They see the love and they see the light and they think that we had such beautiful, easy lives. And it may be true for some, and we need those as well.
I hope so. Yeah, I hope so.
Others have gone through more intense training, because we also need to be able to see everything that is going on with empathy and compassion. And if we hadn't gone through that, and if the nurses hadn't gone through that training, then we would be so far away from everything that is happening that we wouldn't be able to feel it or recognize it.
We wouldn't have the compassion. You're right. We wouldn't have that. We wouldn't feel the connection where we, where the desire to help is coming right from our heart. Like we wouldn't have that deep. Yeah, absolutely. That is so true. Yeah.
And ultimately,
I know in the grand scheme of things, overall, I actually had I was very sheltered my whole life, sheltered from the reality, from the real world. I never really got into politics or, the government. It wasn't in my purview, right? It just wasn't even part of my reality. And so I was kind of sheltered from all of that. And I'm grateful for that. It's what I chose, right? It's what I chose. But, emotionally, my emotional, journey in the last 8 years, has definitely been really, really challenging. And, I guess part of me kind of needs, and that's, part of our healing too, is part of me just needs them to know that it hasn't been all rainbows and unicorns for us. I'm not, an heiress to a $1 billion fortune. And I've just had this life where somebody else is bathing me. And, it's not been like that. I've had to work to get here. And there are a lot of days where I look back and I think, how did I survive that?
Yeah.
How did I survive that? Because, I've been through quite a lot. I would say the last 8 years I feel like I've been through about 8 lifetimes of trauma, and I've probably healed many, many more than that. But it's, it's about what you chose. And if you can own your sovereignty in your mission, like we kind of have to put it in, okay, take your beautiful sovereignty. Great. You know who you are, you know what you came here to do, really own it within your mission. And then you'll be able to see other people. Oh, okay, well, that's their mission. And I'm so glad somebody's doing that, right? Like that's where the perspective needs to be, because that's where I'm at right now. Like I look at my beautiful friend who I love, this guy, right? He's like a soul brother. And I know that he's just lashing out because he's processing, right? He's working through it. But I really just would love for him to redirect that into a more productive, right? Like versus lashing out at me isn't going to do anything, except for he is, able to purge it out of its energy. But I'm not taking it, right? Like I'm not the kind of person that just absorbs it in anymore. I'm just like here. I'm like, okay, but you need to see that that's your mission and I have mine. and telling somebody that they're doing it wrong. And I always say, okay, let everybody do their own thing as long as they're not harming themselves or anyone else.
Yes.
That's got to be the base. If we want to break it down to the most basic elements, like that's what we need to do. If there, obviously if there's looting going on, you want to do something. Like you were saying, we're not going to stand by idly and allow injustice to happen right in front of us. Just because we're in this place that we're in, we're going to do something. We're just not going to, I will do everything in my power to help something resolve peacefully versus picking up the stick and joining in the fight. It's just not my energy.
Yeah.
So
and we need
like
everyone
really
to be on their mission. Like that's really what we need. We don't need any blaming. We really don't need that. We need people
on either side, right?
Exactly.
On either side.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And I don't even like to think of it as sides, but we are kind of on opposite sides of the bridge. And then there's a bunch of us scattered on the bridge. And like you said, people going back and forth. We're still a lot of us doing that. So yeah, but yeah. I don't like saying the sides, but I think people understand what we're trying to convey here.
And we need to remember that for all of us, even those of us who have had ascension experiences on other planets and have assisted other planets on their ascension process, that this is the first time in ever, right? In every reality, in every dimension, that it is happening like it is happening here now. So even though we have ascension experts, we can also allow them to sometimes waver and be unsure about how it's happening, because ultimately we're all co-creating this path of ascension. Everybody on this planet is, right? Every soul on this planet, not only human, every soul is assisting this ascension process.
Right. Yeah.
And we know that ultimately ascension is inevitable. We are finding the way of how to do it, because it's never been done this way. It has never been done with so many differances and so much variety, right?
Absolutely. And different belief systems, and different, that's what, and we've talked about this before, as we've heard this before, and it resonates really deeply, is most other planets are all Caucasian or all black skin or all Asian or all, we literally are a melting pot on the planet. And that's why too, that they say that so many benevolent, well, even not so benevolent, extraterrestrial beings are watching. The benevolent ones are helping, but the whole universe is watching us, because this is such an anomaly. It's almost like it's an experiment, literally, but it was an experiment that it was kind of like, well, I feel like anyway, when I tune into it, I feel like it was a necessary, like there was no choice.
Yeah.
Like this was kind of a big test, but it's also, helping the galaxy and the whole universe raise the vibration, because we're at this kind of critical juncture where it's evolve or perish, you guys. I mean, that's kind of where we were at. And so they had to kind of throw us all, anybody who needed to evolve yet, right? They had
anyone who needed to still heal something from any planet. Right. Like it feels like they're just throwing everyone on here, because what I'm getting is there literally is no other place for them to heal what they have to heal. It's just Earth that can do that for them. The vibration,
Earth is like the souls on Earth. Hard knocks.
Exactly. So, there's no other place that they could go. So it means that right now we have so much variety. And what we are learning is we're learning how to thrive through variety in ascension. And that has not happened on a planet like this before. Like
right. And look at on the positive, on the flip side too, in the positive, like look at what we've done too with this. Like, the planet may have started with all these different cultures, but look how we've kind of melded them together. Like there are so many now people who don't even really resonate as one race or one, nationality, because they're made up of so many different ones. And I think that's amazing that we still manage to kind of bridge all these gaps in big ways. Yeah, we still have the cultures that exist, because in a lot of ways, the cultures themselves are beautiful. They're like the Middle Eastern cultures and there's so many, not religion, right? But their traditions and they're just the way their culture operates is from, like, there's a planet out there that is all, from that culture, right? Or maybe even a whole galaxy. But yeah, we've still managed to, people fall in love, and we don't care what color they are or what country they're from or even what religion they were raised in. It's all, we've been finding that path this whole time. We just didn't realize it, because we were trained to focus on the differences. And so that's what we're shedding too, is that, okay, no more of that. And that goes back to this whole light walker thing, right? Like, stop looking at how different you are from this other light walker standing next to you, and do your job.
And honor everyone. Like, this is exactly what it is. We're here to learn how to honor those differences, right? We're not here to become all the same. This is exactly the thing that we're not doing.
That is definitely misinformation out there. No, definitely not. We are who we are. So we're not even all here to take on all the same belief system. That is not the point of this at all, because everybody's in a different, there's so many truths. It's whatever you chose to experience. And then, of course, we're all going to get back, the ultimate destination is just all, getting back to source. And that's a long, we've got a lot of adventure ahead of us before that happens. And I, for one, intend to, really kind of see the fun in it, see the fun and the joy and the bliss, and focus on the connections versus the division.
Yeah. And that's a really beautiful place to end this. We know that this can be tough sometimes. And
if we triggered you, you're welcome.
Make the best of it, love, have fun, enjoy having been triggered, right? Like, ultimately, that's what we need. We're making it so hard, where it could be a little lighter on everybody. It really could be.
Absolutely. And don't ever think that you're doing something wrong because somebody else is doing it differently. Follow your own heart. And if you're meant to be here triggering left and right on Facebook with controversial posts, then do it, own it.
Yes.
100% do it, because we are honoring your mission doing that.
Yes. Yeah. And it's important. It's hugely important.
It's needed.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's needed right now. We're in that huge transition phase, and it's needed for a lot of people. So, we're all going to get there, holding hands and singing Kumbaya.
Yes, we will. And with that,
thank you so much.
Yes, we thank you. And we both give individual sessions. So if you're connecting to each one of us, especially, then just let us know, give us the shout out, and we'll arrange something for you. And if you have suggestions for topics that you want us to cover in upcoming calls, we're also taking that, of course. We'd love that.
Always.
And let us know, what you're feeling and thinking about this. And let's have an honest conversation around it. I think that's something great that we can do.
Absolutely.
Sending you all much love. Yes, see you next time. Bye.
Bye.